The Scrapyard visionary. In the vast emptiness of Earth's orbit, a field of debris stretched as far as the eye could see. Derelict satellites, abandoned space stations, and the remnants of countless missions floated aimlessly, a graveyard of human ambition. To most, it was nothing more than space junk, a testament to humanity's wastefulness. But to Dr. Amelia Chen, it was an opportunity waiting to be seized. Amelia stood at the viewport of her small research vessel, the Firefly, her dark eyes scanning the debris field. Her weathered face bore the lines of countless sleepless nights and the weight of a dream most considered impossible. At 45, she had already seen the rise and fall of humanity's space ambitions, watched as budget cuts and public apathy slowly choked the life out of space exploration. "Dr. Chen," a voice crackled over the intercom. "We've reached the coordinates you specified." "Thank you, Marcus," Amelia replied, her voice steady despite the excitement bubbling within her. "Begin the scan." As the Firefly's sensors swept across the debris field, Amelia's mind raced with possibilities. For years, she had been developing a revolutionary recycling process, one that could break down and repurpose materials at the molecular level. If her theories were correct, this field of junk could become the raw material for a new generation of spacecraft. The console before her lit up as data began streaming in. Amelia's fingers flew across the holographic interface, sorting through the information. There, amidst the chaos of twisted metal and shattered dreams, she saw it, the pattern she had been searching for. "Marcus," she called out, unable to keep the tremor from her voice. "Are you seeing this?" Her pilot and longtime friend appeared at her side, his graying hair a stark contrast to the boyish excitement in his eyes. "I'll be damned," he whispered. "You were right." The scans showed that much of the debris retained its original molecular structure. With Amelia's process, they could break it down and rebuild it into something new, something stronger. The potential was staggering. "We need to get back to Earth," Amelia said, her mind already racing ahead. "We need funding, a team, resources." Marcus nodded, but his expression grew somber. "You know it won't be easy. The space agency's been gutted. Private investors are more interested in tourist flights than real exploration." Amelia's jaw set in determination. "Then we'll make them interested. This isn't just about exploration anymore, Marcus. This could be our chance to rebuild, to reclaim our place among the stars." As the Firefly turned back towards Earth, Amelia felt a mixture of hope and trepidation. She knew the battle ahead would be hard-fought. The scientific community had all but laughed her out of academia when she first proposed her theories. The politicians saw no value in space beyond satellite communications and weather monitoring. But she had to try. Weeks turned into months as Amelia fought to gain support for her project. She presented her findings to anyone who would listen. University boards, corporate executives, government officials. Most dismissed her outright, calling her ideas fantastical or impractical. But slowly, a few began to take notice. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, a materials scientist from Tokyo University, was the first to publicly endorse her work. His support opened doors, bringing in a trickle of funding and a small team of dedicated researchers. It wasn't much, but it was a start. With her small crew and limited resources, Amelia established a base of operations in low Earth orbit. They called it the Forge, a fitting name for a place where they hoped to reshape humanity's future. The work was grueling, filled with setbacks and failures. But Amelia refused to give up. Their first successful conversion came 6 months after the Forge went operational. It was a small piece, no bigger than a coffee mug, but it represented a monumental achievement. They had taken a fragment of a derelict satellite and reshaped it into a perfectly formed hull plate, stronger and lighter than anything currently in use. As word of their success spread, interest in the project grew. More scientists joined the team, bringing fresh ideas and new perspectives. Engineers began drafting designs for ships that could be built using Amelia's process, vessels unlike anything seen before. But with growing success came growing opposition. Established aerospace companies saw Amelia's work as a threat to their profits. They lobbied against her, spreading doubts about the safety and viability of her methods. Environmental groups raised concerns about the impact of her work on the delicate balance of Earth's orbit. Amelia found herself fighting on multiple fronts, defending her work in scientific journals, courtrooms, and the court of public opinion. The stress took its toll, and there were nights when she wondered if it was all worth it. It was during one of these moments of doubt that Marcus found her, staring out at the debris field from the forge's observation deck. "Thinking of giving up?" he asked, coming to stand beside her. Amelia sighed. "Sometimes I wonder if we're just tilting at windmills, Marcus. Maybe they're right. Maybe this is all just a fool's errand." Marcus was quiet for a moment, his gaze fixed on the floating debris. Then he pointed to a particular piece of junk, a torn solar panel that glinted in the sunlight. "You see that?" he asked. 10 years ago, that was part of a satellite that helped us predict hurricanes, save thousands of lives. Now it's just floating out there, useless. But you, Amelia, you can give it purpose again. You can take all of this," he gestured to the vast field of debris, "and turn it into something that could save not just thousands, but our entire species." His words struck a chord in Amelia, reigniting the passion that had driven her for so long. She realized then that this wasn't just about proving her theories or advancing technology. It was about giving humanity a second chance, an opportunity to learn from its mistakes and build a better future. With renewed determination, Amelia threw herself back into her work. Progress was slow, but steady. Each successful conversion, each new breakthrough, brought them closer to their goal. And as the forge grew, as more and more debris was transformed into usable materials, people began to take notice. News outlets ran stories about the space alchemist turning junk into gold. Children built models of imaginary ships constructed from recycled satellites. For the first time in years, people were looking up at the night sky with hope instead of resignation. But even as Amelia and her team celebrated their successes, none of them could have predicted the monumental change that was about to shake the very foundations of their world. For as humanity looked to the stars with renewed interest, something out there had taken notice of them as well. The day everything changed started like any other on the forge. Amelia was in her lab, fine-tuning the molecular reconfiguration process, when the proximity alarms blared to life. At first, she thought it was just another piece of debris drifting too close to the station. But as she rushed to the command center, she saw the looks of shock and disbelief on her crew's faces. On the main view screen, a ship unlike anything they had ever seen before was approaching the forge. Its sleek, organic lines defied conventional design, shimmering with an otherworldly iridescence. As Amelia stared in awe, a single thought echoed through her mind: "We are not alone." In that moment, as an alien vessel hung in space before them, Amelia realized that her work had taken on a significance far beyond anything she could have imagined. Humanity's future among the stars was no longer a distant dream. It had become an immediate necessity: alien encounter and alliance. The alien ship hung motionless in space, its iridescent hull reflecting the light of distant stars. On board the forge, alarms blared as the crew scrambled to respond to this unprecedented situation. Dr. Amelia Chen stood at the center of the command deck, her mind racing with possibilities and potential consequences. "Are they transmitting anything?" she asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Marcus, who had taken his place at the communications console, shook his head. "Nothing on any known frequencies, Dr. Chen. But there's something. A signal we can't decipher." Amelia nodded, her eyes never leaving the alien vessel. "Keep monitoring. And someone get me a secure line to Earth. They need to know what's happening up here." As her crew worked frantically around her, Amelia couldn't help but feel a mix of fear and excitement. This was the moment humanity had speculated about for centuries: first contact with an alien species, and it was happening here. at her research station, surrounded by the very debris she hoped to transform into humanity's future. Suddenly, the alien ship began to move. It wasn't the aggressive approach they feared, but a graceful maneuver that brought it alongside the forge. As it drew closer, details of its construction became clearer. The ship's hull seemed to flow like liquid metal, constantly shifting and adapting. It was technology far beyond anything humanity had achieved. Dr. Chen, one of her engineers, called out, "They're extending some kind of docking tube." Indeed, a flexible, translucent tunnel was stretching out from the alien ship, making contact with the forge's airlock. The implication was clear. They wanted to come aboard. Amelia took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "Well," she said, looking around at her nervous crew, "it seems we're about to have visitors. Marcus, you're with me. The rest of you, stay at your stations. Be ready for anything." As Amelia and Marcus made their way to the airlock, the gravity of the situation truly hit her. The fate of humanity might well rest on what happened in the next few minutes. When they reached the airlock, they found the docking tube had created a perfect seal. Through its translucent material, they could see movement on the other side. "Here goes nothing," Amelia muttered, and activated the airlock cycle. The inner door slid open, revealing 3 figures that were unmistakably alien. They stood taller than humans, with slender, elongated limbs and large, almond-shaped eyes that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. Their skin had a subtle, metallic sheen, and they wore no visible clothing or equipment. For a moment, both groups simply stared at each other. Then, the central alien figure stepped forward, raising a hand in what seemed to be a gesture of peace. When it spoke, the sound was like nothing Amelia had ever heard, a complex series of musical tones and harmonic resonances. To her shock, she found she could understand the meaning, if not the words themselves. The alien was greeting them, expressing curiosity and admiration. You can understand us?" Amelia asked, her scientific mind already racing with questions about the method of communication. The alien nodded, its large eyes blinking slowly. Through some unknown means, its thoughts were translated into concepts Amelia could comprehend. They had been watching humanity for some time, it explained. They had seen our struggles, our setbacks, and our persistence, and they had seen what Amelia and her team were trying to achieve here at the Forge. "We are the Aetheri," the alien conveyed. "We have traveled far, seeking others who understand the importance of renewal, of giving new purpose to that which has been discarded. In you, Dr. Amelia Chen, we see a kindred spirit." Amelia's mind reeled at the implications. An advanced alien species had not only been observing humanity, but had chosen to make contact because of her work. It seemed almost too incredible to believe. "Why now?" she asked. "Why reveal yourselves to us at this moment?" The Aetheri's response carried a sense of urgency. They explained that the galaxy was not the empty, peaceful expanse humanity had imagined. There were other species out there, some of whom saw younger civilizations as nothing more than resources to be exploited or obstacles to be removed. The Aetheri had been watching and waiting, hoping humanity would prove itself worthy of protection and alliance. "Your work here," the Aetheri conveyed, gesturing to the Forge and the debris field beyond, "shows that humanity has the potential to join us, to become part of something greater." As the alien's meaning became clear, Amelia felt a surge of hope unlike anything she had experienced before. This wasn't just about recycling space junk anymore. This was about securing humanity's place in a vast, complex galactic community. Over the next few hours, as news of the alien contact spread to Earth, causing a mixture of panic, disbelief, and wonder, Amelia and her team worked to establish a framework for cooperation with the Aetheri. The aliens shared insights into their advanced recycling and manufacturing techniques, technologies that could revolutionize not just space exploration, but life on Earth as well. In return, the Aetheri seemed fascinated by human creativity and adaptability. They were particularly intrigued by the way Amelia and her team had managed to achieve so much with such limited resources. It was a trait, they explained, that could serve humanity well in the challenges to come. As the initial shock of first contact began to wear off, the real work began. The Forge became a hub of frantic activity, with human scientists and engineers working alongside their ethereal counterparts. The aliens' technology allowed for exponentially faster processing of the orbital debris, turning years of work into mere weeks. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Back on Earth, reactions to the alien presence were mixed. While many saw the Aetheri as saviors, offering humanity a shortcut to the stars, others viewed them with suspicion and fear. Conspiracy theories spread like wildfire, claiming the aliens had nefarious intentions or that the whole thing was an elaborate hoax. Amelia found herself thrust into the role of diplomat, shuttling between the Forge and Earth, trying to allay fears and build support for the Alliance. It was a role she had never imagined for herself, but one she tackled with the same determination that had driven her scientific work. During one particularly tense meeting with world leaders, Amelia's patience finally snapped. "Don't you understand?" she demanded, her voice ringing through the United Nations chamber. "This isn't about politics or national interests anymore. This is about the survival and advancement of our entire species. The Aetheri are offering us a chance not just to clean up our orbit, but to take our place among the stars. Are we really going to let fear and narrow-mindedness hold us back?" Her words, broadcast around the world, struck a chord. Slowly but surely, public opinion began to shift. People began to see the debris field not as a problem, but as an opportunity. The Forge became a symbol of hope, a promise of a brighter future. As the work progressed, the first tangible results of the Human Aetheri Alliance began to take shape. Huge sections of the debris field were cleared, processed, and repurposed. The raw materials were used to expand the Forge, transforming it from a small research station into a sprawling space dock. And there, in the heart of what was once a graveyard of human ambition, something miraculous began to take form. The first ship of humanity's new fleet, built from the very debris that had cluttered Earth's orbit for decades. It was a perfect fusion of human design and Aetheri technology, sleek and powerful in ways that would have been impossible just months before. As Amelia stood in the observation deck, watching the ship nearing completion, she felt a presence beside her. It was the Aetheri leader she had first met, its shimmering eyes reflecting the starlight. "You have done well, Amelia Chen," the alien conveyed. "Your people have exceeded even our expectations." Amelia smiled, a mix of pride and humility washing over her. "We couldn't have done it without you," she replied. "Your guidance, your technology, you've given us so much." The Aetheri's response carried a hint of amusement. "We have given you tools, nothing more. The vision, the determination, the ingenuity, those are uniquely human traits. It is why we chose to reveal ourselves to you. And it is why we believe you will thrive among the stars." As they stood there, watching the ship that represented the culmination of their alliance, Amelia couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. This was just the beginning. With the Aetheri's help, humanity was poised to take its first real steps into the galactic community. But even as hope bloomed, a shadow loomed on the horizon. The Aetheri had warned of other, less friendly species out in the cosmos, and as humanity's presence in space grew, it was only a matter of time before they took notice. For now, though, Amelia allowed herself to savor the moment. The ship before her was proof of what humanity could achieve when it dared to dream big, when it found the courage to reach out to the unknown. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that the spirit that had brought them this far would see them through. As the first lights flickered to life on the new ship's hull, Amelia felt a surge of determination. The real work, she realized, was just beginning. But for the first time in a long time, the future of humanity looked bright indeed. The first ship rises. The newly constructed vessel hung in space, a testament to human ingenuity and Aetheri technology. Its sleek lines and shimmering hull belied its origins as discarded debris. Dr. Amelia Chen stood at the helm, her heart racing with a mixture of pride and anticipation. This ship, christened the Phoenix, was more than just humanity's first step into advanced space travel. It was a symbol of rebirth, of humanity's ability to rise from its own ashes. "All systems are green, Dr. Chen," Marcus called from his station. "We're ready for the maiden voyage." Amelia nodded, her eyes fixed on the view screen. Beyond the Phoenix, Earth hung like a blue marble, beautiful and fragile. "Let's make history," she said, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. As the Phoenix's engines hummed to life, Amelia couldn't help but reflect on the whirlwind of events that had led to this moment. The alliance with the Aetheri had accelerated their progress beyond her wildest dreams, but it hadn't been without challenges. The integration of Aetheri technology with human systems had been a monumental task. There had been failures, setbacks, and moments of frustration. But with each obstacle overcome, the human Aetheri teams had grown stronger, learning to combine their unique strengths. Now, as the Phoenix prepared to break free from Earth's orbit, Amelia felt the weight of expectation on her shoulders. The eyes of the world were upon them. This flight would either vindicate the alliance or give ammunition to those who still doubted the Aetheri's intentions. Initiating departure sequence, Marcus announced, his fingers dancing across the holographic controls. The Phoenix responded beautifully, its revolutionary propulsion system allowing for a smooth acceleration that belied its immense power. As they cleared Earth's orbit, Amelia felt a sense of freedom she had never experienced before. They were truly breaking new ground. Their mission was twofold: to test the capabilities of the Phoenix and to begin mapping the outer reaches of the solar system with unprecedented detail. The ship's advanced sensors, a fusion of human and Aetheri technology, would allow them to gather more data in a few weeks than all previous missions combined. As they passed the moon, Amelia received a transmission from the Aetheri vessel that had been their constant companion since first contact. The alien's thoughts carried a sense of pride and excitement that matched her own. "You have taken your first true step into the cosmos," the Aetheri conveyed. "But remember, with new horizons come new challenges. Stay vigilant." Amelia Chen. The cryptic warning sent a shiver down Amelia's spine, but she pushed the feeling aside. This was a moment for celebration, not foreboding. As the days passed, the Phoenix proved itself beyond all expectations. Its recycled hull was stronger than any conventional material, its sensors picked up phenomena never before detected, and its efficient engines allowed for maneuvers that would have been impossible with older technology. The crew worked tirelessly, human and Aetheri alike, pushing the ship to its limits and gathering invaluable data. They mapped asteroid fields with pinpoint accuracy, studied the complex dynamics of gas giants, and even detected anomalies that hinted at the presence of undiscovered planets in the outer solar system. But it was as they approached the Kuiper belt that things took an unexpected turn. The Phoenix's sensors picked up an anomaly, a distortion in space that defied explanation. As they moved closer to investigate, tension filled the bridge. "What are we looking at?" Amelia asked, her eyes fixed on the swirling vortex that had appeared on their view screen. Before anyone could respond, the anomaly pulsed, releasing a wave of energy that washed over the Phoenix. Alarms blared as systems flickered, and for a heart-stopping moment, Amelia feared they might lose control of the ship. But as quickly as it had appeared, the anomaly vanished, leaving behind only questions and a flood of bewildering data. As the crew worked to make sense of what they had encountered, Amelia couldn't shake the feeling that they had just stumbled upon something far beyond their understanding. The Aetheri, when consulted, seemed troubled by the discovery. They explained that such anomalies were rare but not unheard of. They were often signs of advanced technology, remnants of ancient species or evidence of ongoing activities by civilizations far beyond even the Aetheri's level. "You must be cautious," the Aetheri warned. "Your presence here may have been noticed. There are forces in the galaxy that do not look kindly upon emerging species. The warning cast a shadow over what had been a triumphant mission. As they prepared to return to Earth, Amelia felt a growing sense of unease. They had set out to prove humanity's readiness for the stars, but had they instead painted a target on their backs? The return journey was tense, every unexpected reading or system glitch causing a ripple of concern through the crew. But as Earth grew larger in their view screen, relief began to set in. They had done it. Against all odds, they had built a ship from space debris and successfully navigated the far reaches of their solar system. The Phoenix's return was met with global celebration. As they docked with the expanded Forge, now a sprawling space station, Amelia saw the fruits of their labor spread out before her. Multiple ships were under construction, each incorporating lessons learned from the Phoenix's maiden voyage. But even as humanity reveled in its achievement, forces were stirring in the dark spaces between the stars. The anomaly they had encountered was more than a cosmic curiosity. It was a tripwire. And somewhere in the vast expanse of the galaxy, ancient eyes had turned their gaze towards Earth. In the days that followed, as Amelia and her team pored over the data from their encounter, the Ethery grew increasingly agitated. They spoke of old legends, of species that guarded the secrets of the cosmos with zealous fervor. The anomaly, they feared, might have been a test, one that humanity had unwittingly stumbled into. "We must accelerate our plans," the Ethery leader conveyed during an emergency meeting. "Your species has shown great promise, but you are still vulnerable. We must prepare you for what may come." The implications were staggering. What had begun as a project to clean up Earth's orbit had evolved into a crash course in galactic politics and survival. Humanity, it seemed, had inadvertently announced its presence on a cosmic stage it barely understood. Amelia found herself at the center of a whirlwind of activity. The Forge became a hive of frantic construction and research. The debris field, once seen as a problem to be solved, was now treated as a precious resource. Every scrap of metal, every derelict satellite, could be the key to humanity's survival. New ship designs were drafted, incorporating defensive capabilities that Amelia had never even dreamed of. The Ethery shared technologies they had been hesitant to reveal before, speaking of energy shields and weapons capable of bending the very fabric of space-time. But even as they worked, doubt gnawed at Amelia. Had they moved too fast? In their eagerness to reach the stars, had they exposed Earth to dangers they weren't prepared to face? The weight of responsibility pressed down on her, heavier than ever before. It was during one sleepless night, as she stood in the observation deck watching the ceaseless activity of the construction drones, that Amelia received an unexpected visitor. The Ethery leader approached, its shimmering form reflecting the starlight. "You are troubled, Amelia Chen," it conveyed, its thoughts tinged with concern. Amelia nodded, too tired to hide her fears. "I can't help but wonder if we've made a terrible mistake. We wanted to clean up our orbit, to build a better future. Instead, we may have put our entire species at risk." The Ethery was silent for a long moment, its large eyes fixed on the Earth below. When it responded, its thoughts carried a depth of emotion Amelia had never sensed from the aliens before. "The path to the stars is never without risk," it conveyed. "But consider this. Had you not reached out, had you not shown the courage to transform your refuse into the seeds of your future, you would have remained vulnerable, ignorant of the forces that shape the galaxy. Yes, you have faced challenges sooner than we had hoped, but you have also gained allies and knowledge that may yet be your salvation." The alien's words struck a chord in Amelia. She realized that there was no going back. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, for better or worse. Their task now was not to retreat, but to face whatever came with the same spirit of innovation and determination that had brought them this far. As if to underscore the point, a flash of light caught her eye. One of the new ships, sleeker and more advanced than even the Phoenix, was undergoing its first engine test. The sight filled Amelia with a renewed sense of purpose. "You're right," she said, straightening her shoulders. We can't change the past, but we can shape our future. Whatever's coming, we'll face it head on. The Aethery's response carried a sense of approval and something else. Pride, perhaps. That it conveyed is why we chose to ally with humanity. Your adaptability, your resilience in the face of the unknown. These are rare and precious traits in the cosmos. As they stood there, watching the new ship maneuver with grace and power, Amelia felt a shift in her perspective. The debris field was no longer just a problem to solve or a resource to exploit. It was a challenge, a test of humanity's ability to transform its past mistakes into the foundation of a brighter future. And as the first rays of sunlight crept over Earth's horizon, illuminating the bustling activity around the forge, Amelia knew that whatever trials lay ahead, humanity would face them united, with each other and with their new allies among the stars. The Phoenix had risen from the ashes of Earth's orbital debris. Now it was time for humanity to truly spread its wings and soar into the cosmic unknown. Galactic powers take notice. The transformation of Earth's orbit was nothing short of miraculous. Where once a chaotic cloud of debris threatened spacecraft and satellites, now a thriving network of stations and shipyards bustled with activity. The Phoenix, humanity's first true starship, had paved the way for an entire fleet of vessels, each more advanced than the last. Dr. Amelia Chen stood on the observation deck of the New Horizon, the latest flagship of Earth's growing fleet. Her dark eyes, now lined with the weight of responsibility, scanned the stars with a mix of wonder and wariness. The universe had proven to be far more complex and dangerous than anyone had imagined. Dr. Chen, a voice called from behind her. The council is assembling for the briefing. Amelia nodded, taking one last look at the Earth below before turning to follow her aide. The United Earth Council, formed in the wake of first contact with the Aethery, had become the governing body for humanity's expansion into space, and today they were about to receive news that could change everything. As she entered the council chamber, a hush fell over the assembled representatives. Human leaders sat alongside Aethery delegates, a sight that still felt surreal even after years of alliance. At the center of the room, a holographic display flickered to life, showing a map of the galaxy. "Thank you all for coming," Amelia began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "As you know, our deep space probes have been pushing further into the galaxy, mapping unexplored regions and searching for signs of other civilizations. Yesterday, we received a transmission from probe Delta 9. What it found? Well, it's best if I show you." With a gesture, Amelia brought up the probe's footage. The assembled council watched in stunned silence as images of a massive space station appeared. Unlike anything built by humans or Aethery, this structure was clearly the work of a far more advanced civilization. Its design was both beautiful and terrifying, with sleek lines that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "This station," Amelia continued, "is located in what we thought was uninhabited space, just beyond the borders of known galactic territories. Our Aethery allies have confirmed that it belongs to a species known as the Veldar." At the mention of the name, a ripple of unease passed through the Aethery delegates. One of them, a tall, willowy being named Zarek, stood to address the council. The Veldar, Zarek's thoughts resonated in the minds of all present, are one of the oldest and most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. They are known as peacekeepers to some, oppressors to others. Their technology is centuries beyond even our own, and they take a keen interest in emerging species. The implications hung heavy in the air. Humanity, in its rapid ascent from a planet-bound civilization to a spacefaring race, had caught the attention of a galactic superpower. "What are our options?" asked the UN Secretary-General, her face pale but determined. Amelia took a deep breath before responding. "Based on the data we've gathered and the advice of our Aethery allies, we have 3 potential courses of action. First, we could attempt to avoid notice, scaling back our expansion and hoping to fly under the Veldar's radar. Second, we could reach out diplomatically, trying to establish peaceful contact. Or third," she paused, knowing the weight of her next words. "We could accelerate our military buildup, preparing for a potential conflict we may not be able to avoid." The chamber erupted into heated debate. Some argued for caution, others for bold action. The Aetheri delegates watched silently, their shimmering eyes unreadable. As the arguments raged, Amelia's mind drifted back to the early days of the Forge project. How naive they had been, thinking that cleaning up space debris was their biggest challenge. Now, they stood on the precipice of a galactic political landscape they barely understood, with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. Hours passed as the council debated, tempers flaring and alliances shifting. Finally, a consensus began to emerge. They would pursue a two-pronged approach: diplomatic outreach backed by a continued military buildup. It was a risky strategy, but one that offered the best chance of securing humanity's place among the stars. As the meeting adjourned, Amelia felt the weight of the decision settle on her shoulders. She would lead the diplomatic mission to the Veldar station, a task that filled her with equal parts excitement and dread. Over the next weeks, preparations were made in secret. A new ship, the Emissary, was quickly constructed using the most advanced human and Aetheri technology available. Its mission was ostensibly scientific, but its true purpose was known only to a select few. The day of departure arrived all too soon. As Amelia boarded the Emissary, she took one last look at the Earth, wondering if she would ever see it again. The ship's crew was a mix of humans and Aetheri, chosen for their expertise and their ability to work under pressure. As they broke orbit and set course for the Veldar station, Amelia couldn't shake a sense of foreboding. They were venturing into unknown territory, both literally and figuratively. The fate of humanity could well rest on the outcome of this mission. The journey took several weeks, even with the emissary's advanced propulsion systems. As they traveled, Amelia and her team pored over every scrap of information the Aetheri had on the Veldar. They were an ancient race, with a history stretching back millions of years. Their technology was said to be indistinguishable from magic, and their motives were often inscrutable to younger species. Finally, the Veldar station appeared on their sensors. Up close, it was even more impressive than the probe footage had suggested. The station seemed to shimmer and shift, as if it wasn't fully anchored in normal spacetime. "We're being hailed," announced the communications officer, her voice tense. Amelia straightened her uniform, trying to project a confidence she didn't entirely feel. "On screen," she ordered. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a being unlike any Amelia had ever seen. The Veldar representative was tall and slender, with skin that seemed to ripple with colors like an oil slick. Its eyes were deep pools of swirling energy, and when it spoke, its voice resonated on multiple frequencies simultaneously. "Greetings, humans and Aetheri," the Veldar said, its tone neutral but carrying an undercurrent of immense power. "We have been expecting you." Amelia stepped forward, her heart pounding but her voice steady. "On behalf of Earth and our allies, I greet you. We come in peace, seeking dialogue and understanding." The Veldar's eyes seemed to bore into her, as if reading her very thoughts. "Peace," it mused, the word carrying layers of meaning. A noble goal, but one often misunderstood by young races. "Tell me, Dr. Amelia Chen, what do you hope to achieve here?" The question caught Amelia off guard. She had prepared diplomatic statements and requests for cultural exchange, but the Veldar's direct approach demanded honesty. "We hope to secure our place in the galaxy," she said after a moment's hesitation, "to learn, to grow, and to contribute to the greater galactic community." The Veldar was silent for a long moment, its colors shifting in mesmerizing patterns. When it spoke again, its voice carried a hint of what might have been amusement. "Admirable goals," it said, "but the galaxy is not a welcoming place for idealists. You have risen quickly, transformed your refuse into the seeds of a stellar civilization. But in doing so, you have attracted attention, not all of it benign." Amelia felt a chill run down her spine. "Are we in danger?" she asked, abandoning pretense. The Veldar's form shimmered, and suddenly Amelia felt as if she were standing in a vast, star-filled void. Images flashed around her, worlds burning, fleets clashing in epic battles, civilizations rising and falling in the blink of an eye. "The galaxy is always in flux," the Veldar's voice echoed in her mind. "Species rise and fall, alliances shift, and the balance of power is ever-changing. Your arrival on the galactic stage has disrupted certain equilibriums." As quickly as it had begun, the vision faded, leaving Amelia back on the bridge of the emissary. She staggered slightly, steadying herself against a console. "What was that?" she gasped. "A glimpse of the complexities you now face," the Veldar replied. "Your species has potential, Dr. Chen. But potential can be a dangerous thing. It attracts those who would nurture it, and those who would snuff it out." Amelia's mind raced, trying to process the implications of what she'd seen and heard. "Are you offering us protection?" she asked cautiously. The Veldar's colors swirled faster. "Protection is earned, not given. We offer you a choice. Continue as you are, and face the challenges of the galaxy alone, or accept our guidance, our restrictions, and gain a measure of security." The offer hung in the air, heavy with consequence. Amelia knew that her answer could shape the future of humanity for generations to come. She thought of Earth, of the miraculous transformation they had achieved, of the hope and ambition that had driven them to the stars. "With respect," she said, her voice gaining strength, "humanity has always forged its own path. We welcome guidance, but we cannot accept restrictions that would stifle our growth. We choose to face the challenges of the galaxy on our terms, with the allies we've made and those we hope to make in the future." For a moment, silence filled the bridge. Then, to Amelia's surprise, the Veldar's form seemed to relax, its colors settling into a more harmonious pattern. "A bold choice," it said, and this time there was definite approval in its tone. "One that carries great risk and great potential reward. Very well, Dr. Chen. You have chosen your path. Know that our eyes will be upon you, as will the eyes of others. How you navigate the currents of galactic politics will determine not only your fate, but potentially the fate of this sector of the galaxy." With those ominous words, the communication ended, leaving the crew of the emissary in stunned silence. As Amelia looked around at her team, she saw a mix of fear and determination on their faces. They had come seeking answers, and found only more questions, more challenges. But they had also found something else, a recognition of humanity's potential on a galactic scale. "Plot a course for home," Amelia ordered, her voice filled with newfound resolve. "We have a lot of work to do." As the emissary turned away from the Veldar station, Amelia's mind was already racing with plans. They needed to accelerate their shipbuilding efforts, expand their diplomatic outreach, and prepare for challenges they could scarcely imagine. The galaxy had taken notice of humanity. Now it was up to them to prove they were worthy of their place among the stars. The journey that had begun with cleaning up space debris had led them to the threshold of a new era. And Amelia Chen, the woman who had dared to see potential in Earth's orbital junkyard, was ready to lead humanity into the unknown. Humanity's triumphant stand. The years following the encounter with the Veldar were a whirlwind of activity for humanity. Dr. Amelia Chen, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the galactic community, found herself at the center of a rapidly expanding web of alliances, conflicts, and technological advancements. The orbital shipyards that had once been mere dreams now stretched across Earth's skies, churning out vessels that married the best of human ingenuity with ethery technology. The debris field that had once threatened their home world had been transformed into the foundation of a formidable fleet. But with growth came new challenges. As humanity pushed further into the galaxy, they encountered species both friendly and hostile. Some saw the potential in this young, adaptive race, and sought to form alliances. Others viewed humanity's rapid ascent as a threat to be eliminated. It was on a crisp autumn morning, as Amelia stood in the newly constructed Galactic Embassy in Geneva, that the crisis they had long feared finally arrived. Ambassador Chen, her aide, burst into the room, face pale with urgency. "We're receiving multiple distress calls from our outer colonies. They're under attack." Amelia's blood ran cold. They had prepared for this possibility, but the reality was still shocking. "Show me," she commanded, striding to the holographic display dominating the center of the room. The image that materialized showed chaos. A fleet of sleek, predatory ships was laying waste to human outposts on the fringes of their territory. Their design was unlike anything they had encountered before, all sharp angles and pulsing energy weapons. The Kreldax, a familiar voice, resonated in Amelia's mind. She turned to see Zarek, the Etheri ambassador, entering the room. An expansionist species from the galactic core. They seek to claim new territories and eliminate potential rivals. Amelia's mind raced. The Kreldax weren't just attacking border outposts. This was a full-scale invasion aimed at crippling humanity before they could become a true galactic power. "Activate the Sentinel Protocol," Amelia ordered, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her heart. It was a contingency they had hoped never to use, a full mobilization of Earth's fleet, and a call to arms for all their allies. As alarms blared and diplomats scrambled, Amelia found herself recalling the day she had first proposed the idea of recycling space debris. How far they had come, from cleaning up their own orbit to now facing a threat to their very existence as a species. Within hours, Earth's response was underway. Ships that had once been satellites and space stations, now transformed into formidable warships, broke orbit en masse. The Phoenix, the first ship of their reborn fleet, led the charge, with Amelia herself on board. As they raced towards the conflict zone, reports flooded in from across human space. The Kreldax assault was devastating, but humanity's colonies were not going down without a fight. Years of preparation, of integrating advanced technology into their infrastructure, were paying off. Planetary shields, while strained, were holding. Automated defense systems were taking a toll on the invaders, but it wasn't enough. The Kreldax's technological edge was clear, their weapons capable of overwhelming even the most advanced human defenses. As the Earth fleet approached the battle zone, Amelia knew they were in for the fight of their lives. "All ships, this is Ambassador Chen." Amelia's voice rang out across the comm channels. "I know many of you never expected to be soldiers. We began this journey seeking to clean up our past and build a better future. Now we fight not just for that future, but for our very right to exist among the stars. Remember your training. Trust in the ships we've built, and know that every piece of debris we reclaimed, every scrap we repurposed, has led to this moment. We are humanity. We have risen from our own ashes before, and we will do so again. Engage the enemy." The space around the embattled human colonies erupted into chaos as Earth's fleet engaged the Kreldax. The recycled ships, built from the remnants of humanity's early space age, proved their worth. Their unconventional designs, born from the need to repurpose disparate pieces of technology, made them unpredictable opponents. Amelia watched from the bridge of the Phoenix as human ingenuity clashed with Kreldax superiority. Ships that had once been communication satellites now jammed enemy transmissions. Former space telescopes, their sensitive instruments repurposed, provided unparalleled targeting data. But the battle was far from one-sided. Kreldax weapons tore through human ships, their advanced shielding shrugging off retaliatory strikes. For every small victory humanity claimed, the Kreldax seemed to push back harder. As the conflict raged, a transmission cut through the chaos. It was the Veldar, their shimmering form appearing on view screens across the human fleet. "You stand at a crossroads. Humanity, the ancient being intoned. Your actions here will determine your place in the galactic order. Choose wisely." Amelia gritted her teeth. The Veldar's neutrality was frustrating, but she understood the test for what it was. Humanity had to prove itself worthy of survival. "We need to change the game," Amelia muttered, her mind racing. Then it hit her. They had been fighting a conventional war with unconventional ships. It was time to truly embrace what made them unique. "All ships, new orders," she commanded. "Initiate protocol junkyard dock." Across the battlefield, human ships began to alter their tactics. Instead of engaging in direct firefights, they started using the debris from destroyed vessels as cover and weapons. Tractor beams, originally designed for clearing space junk, now hurled chunks of wreckage at Kreldax ships. Recycling systems, meant to break down and repurpose materials, were turned against enemy vessels, literally pulling them apart at the molecular level. The Kreldax, unused to such unorthodox tactics, began to falter. Their rigid battle formations broke down in the face of humanity's adaptive strategy. But victory was far from assured. The invaders still outnumbered the human fleet, and their technological edge remained significant. It was then that humanity's allies arrived. Aetheri ships, their organic designs a stark contrast to the angular Kreldax vessels, warped into the battle zone. They were followed by other species, races that had seen potential in humanity, that had benefited from trade and cultural exchange with Earth. The tide of battle began to turn. The Kreldax, facing not just humanity but a coalition of species, found themselves outmatched. Their invasion, meant to be a swift conquest, had turned into a protracted conflict they were ill prepared to sustain. As the battle reached its climax, Amelia made a daring decision. She ordered the Phoenix to break through enemy lines, heading straight for what sensors indicated was the Kreldax command ship. It was a risky move, but one that could end the conflict decisively. The Phoenix, a ship born from Earth's discarded dreams, weaved through the chaos of battle. Its recycled hull, stronger than any conventional material, shrugged off hits that would have destroyed other vessels. As they closed in on the Kreldax flagship, Amelia felt a sense of destiny. This moment would define humanity's future among the stars. Hailing the Kreldax command, Amelia's voice was steel as she opened a channel. "This is Dr. Amelia Chen of Earth. Your invasion has failed. Surrender now, or face destruction." For a long moment, there was silence. Then, a harsh, guttural voice responded. "You dare to demand our surrender? You, a species that was planet-bound mere decades ago." Amelia allowed herself a small smile. "We dare because we must. We dare because every piece of debris you see around you, every ship in our fleet, represents our refusal to be limited by our past. Humanity has risen from its own ashes, turned its waste into the seeds of a stellar civilization. We will not be extinguished." As if to punctuate her words, the Phoenix unleashed its main weapon, a concentrated beam of energy that could rewrite matter at the subatomic level. The Kreldax flagship's shields buckled, unable to cope with a weapon they had never encountered before. "This is your final warning," Amelia continued. "Withdraw your forces, or we will be forced to demonstrate the full extent of our capabilities." Another pause, longer this time. Then, to Amelia's relief and surprise, the Kreldax began to retreat. Across the battlefield, their ships disengaged, jumping to faster-than-light speeds and disappearing into the void of space. As the realization of victory washed over the human fleet, cheers erupted across comm channels. They had done it. Humanity had faced its first true galactic threat and emerged triumphant. In the days that followed, as the full extent of the battle became clear, Amelia found herself once again standing before the Veldar. This time, however, the ancient being's demeanor was different. There was a newfound respect in its swirling eyes. "You have surprised us, Dr. Chen," the Veldar intoned. "Few species have shown such adaptability, such determination in the face of superior forces. Your victory here has shifted the balance of power in this sector of the galaxy." Amelia nodded, feeling the weight of the Veldar's words. "We didn't ask for this conflict," she said, "but we will always stand ready to defend our right to exist, to grow, to explore." The Veldar's form shimmered, its colors shifting in what Amelia had come to recognize as amusement. Indeed, you have proven yourselves worthy of your place among the stars. But remember, young one, with great power comes great responsibility. How you proceed from here will determine not just your fate, but the fate of many others. As the Velder's image faded, Amelia turned to look out at the stars. The battle was over, but she knew their journey was just beginning. Humanity had transformed from a species trapped by its own orbital debris to a force capable of shaping galactic events. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with both promise and peril. But as Amelia watched Earth's ships, each one a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance, she felt a surge of hope. Whatever challenges the universe might throw at them, humanity would face them head-on, adapting, learning, and growing. From the ashes of their past, they had forged a future among the stars. And now, with the eyes of the galaxy upon them, it was time to show the universe what humanity could truly achieve. As the Phoenix set a course for Earth, carrying with it the story of humanity's triumphant stand, Amelia Chen allowed herself a moment of quiet pride. They had come so far, from cleaning up space junk to defending their place in the cosmos. And yet she knew this was just the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure.